now I'm just trying to explain you that if you look properly at the code, then for example, suppose we have a class rectangle, then the rectangle class have the functions to find out the area, perimeter, length of diagonals. What will happen if we create the object of the rectangle class? So we can simply, using that idea, we can achieve the calculations, or we can find the area, perimeter and the length of diagonals of a rectangle. But inheritance means if we simply add, because cuboids are the solid rectangles, so if you just add height to the rectangle, then they become cuboid. So now I'm just trying to explain you that I have created one class called rectangle, and then I'm inheriting it, and another class I'm creating which is called cuboid, and this cuboid is inheriting the rectangle in public mode. There are three modes by which a class can inherit another class. This is called the public mode of inheritance. So I have a class rectangle which have the length and breadth, two constructors, rectangle default constructor which sets the length and breadth to 0, and then another constructor which is parameterized which sets the length and breadth to a and b respectively. Then int area to calculate the area of the rectangle, and then the double to calculate the diagonal, length of diagonal, which is square root of under root L square plus B square, like under root L square plus B square. Then int perimeter, just to calculate the perimeter. So three functions are there. These are the functions of the rectangle class. Now I have to define them. Then how to define? Just write the name of the return type of the function. So first int, the name of the class rectangle, scope resolution operator, and then the name of the function. So area. So area is length into breadth. This function simply will return L into B or X into Y. So length in, because X is length and Y is breadth. Now another function I have, this is diagonal. So double rectangle, and then scope resolution operator, and then the name is diag, and this is short form, and then it will return sqrt, and we have to import or include the sqrt math.h. So x into x plus y into y, that is under root L square plus B square. Then one more function we have which is perimeter. So int rectangle, okay, spelling check. Then these are the codes from the previous codes, so we will remove them, don't worry. So these are not required. And this is a class public which now here you see. So two functions I have defined, one is still to be defined, that is perimeter. So int rectangle, scope resolution operator, peri is the perimeter which is 2 times length plus 2 times breadth. So return 2 into x plus y. So x plus y. Then I go for, means my cuboid class is inheriting the rectangle class. So in the public mode, which we'll discuss little later or in the next video, don't worry. We have three modes of the inheritance: public mode of inheritance, private mode of inheritance, and the protected mode of inheritance. We'll make 4 or 5 videos on the inheritance. So now this is a constructor. So now the default constructor, this is how I am linking the default constructor of the cuboid with the default constructor of rectangle. And here in this code I am writing h equal to 0. So the default rectangle will also set the x and y to 0, and here this constructor setting h to 0. Now this is parameterized. So cuboid have 3 features: length, breadth and height. 2 is for rectangle and 1 is for itself. So x, int x, int y, int z, and then the rectangle I'll pass x and y. So you can take x and y are for this that class. X and y is length and breadth, and the z is height. So the z now goes into the height, and height is the private variable of this class, not of the rectangle. X and Y are the variables of the rectangle class, which are also in the private. Like the private, by default the variables are private, and we have kept also that in private, but constructors are public. So with the help of, there also you have two default constructors, one default constructor, one parameterized. Here also I have one default and one parameterized. So with this default I attach that default, and with this parameterized I have attached another the previous classes parameterized functions, and that requires two variables. So I'm passing to this cuboid constructor takes three values x, y, z, and the passing two to the rectangle. Now it has two functions, int volume and double diagonal, because volume of a cuboid is length into breadth into height, and the length of diagonal of a cuboid is under root L square plus B square plus H square. So I am defining, this is functions of the volume. So int cuboid and the return H into. Now see, so since I am inheriting, so the area functions which gives me the length into breadth, the length into breadth into height, this becomes volume, but the area function has been defined into that class. Keep this in your mind. And now the double cuboid, and this is length of diagonal. So if you just look mathematically, then under root L square plus B square plus H square means if you square the diag of the rectangle class and then add the height into height from this class, it will automatically become under root L square plus B square plus H square. Just you need to be a little good in mathematics and geometry. So diag functions is, I'm calling two times. So diag into diag means it is the diag is giving you the rectangle class, so it becomes under root x L square plus B square means x square plus y square, but I'm calling it L because people say that cuboid has the length, breadth and height plus H into H. Now I create the object of the cuboid class, and I'll pass three values to it. So the ds is the object. Okay, let's make it CDS or CD. Then 12 is the length of the cuboid, 5 is the breadth, and these three are passed to object for this cuboid constructor. 12 and 5 will go to rectangle, 4 will go to the height of this class variable. Then with the help of CD I am going to call the volume function. CD dot volume. No, input is not required. This is not required. Then relax, I'll just make changes. Cout double quote and then there I write volume equal to, so that you can understand whether it is a volume. So this is CD dot volume, and this is length of diagonal. So diagonal equals CD dot diagonal function, and 7 errors. What SQRT should have the prototype declaration terminated incorrectly. So first you just go and include the math.h hash include, not importing, hash include math.h. So the one error is gone, still 5 are there. So it says that declaration corrected. So this is cuboid, here everything is fine. Then where it is, so cuboid is fine, that is also is okay, and no, still 5 errors are there. So yes, this is also fine. I think somewhere spelling mistakes might have happened. No, again this is 5 errors are there. Yeah, where it is? Cuboid declaration. So the volume is not a member of the class cuboid. So let's go. Don't worry, just keep on bugging, because having bug is good. Now here there is one mistake because of cuboid, so it should be spelling mistake. Now errors are only two errors are there. Diago. Let's check whether we have named it Diago or it was something different. So oh, this is diag. It's not Diago. So it should be diag, and this is diag. So diag into diag. Now let's check it again. I think we should not have any error now. One error. Oh, input function. There is no function called input function. It should be volume. Okay. So diagonal, and here it should be volume function.